with the eggplant because we have to slightly oil the eggplant and then charbroil it. So that's the first step, nothing more than that. We could, if we are in a hurry, to split it in the middle, but it's not a must. We can put, if we have more time, we can put it. Charbroil on 450. Let's see if I can. Hello, my name is Bibi Kasri. I am 47. I live in La Jolla, California, where they know me by the name of my store, The Harvard Cooking Girl, or by the name of my book, The Spice Whisperer. And you will know for sure why they call me The Spice Whisperer today. I want to do a very quick, unusual recipe. I am sure most of you have never heard of it. It's called Naazkhatoon. And it's from the north of Iran by the beautiful Caspians, by putting 1 eggplant into the toaster oven. As you can see, I have many ovens here. The reason today I'm using a toaster oven is twofold. One, because I'm going to cook for 1 or 2 people. 2, because I want to show you that even if you live in a dorm or in a small apartment, by having a small, convection toaster oven, you can do most things just right. So I sliced the eggplant that I showed you. I brushed it with a little bit of olive oil and I put it on broil until it's charred. I make cooking easy. Making it easy, there is a French word called mise en place, which literally in English means putting everything in its right place. I'm like a Japanese cook, I cook and clean. So what I like to do is take the ingredients that I need. So I know I need garlic for this. By the way, very few ingredients. So with very few things you can make an extraordinary taste happen. Garlic, something called abrouré or verjus in French, which is sour grape water. Very different. If you don't have sour grape water, you can use key lime, but I really recommend verjus. A little bit of olive oil, and obviously my spices. So my famous spice box or masala box, out of which, so I have everything, out of which I'm going to take out the turmeric. It's the queen of spices, and I will tell you why they call it that. I'm going to take a little bit of very good ground black pepper and maybe, okay, not maybe, but definitely some dried mint to quickly, oh, and my favorite tool, so a very good knife, and this is one of my favorite tools. They call it the bench scraper, but I use it actually as a knife because it's high carbon German steel, and you can have a very good hold of it, when you need to chop stuff, and I will show you how I'm going to put everything together on this board. So in preparation for when this comes out of the oven, the eggplant, I just take my garlic, I smash it because I don't need the whole garlic, and this is the best way to do it. You give it one big smash like this, and then the whole peel comes off. Now, you can do this 2 ways, whether you're comfortable with the knife or not. You can either take a grater, and I'm going to do everything on this surface, and you will see why. So you can either grate your garlic to the end, or if you feel comfortable, more comfortable with your knife skills, what you do is you actually, I have learned how to cut against the grain of the finger, so I can actually look at you and cut without cutting my fingers, because I always have a safety net here. And then once I chop it and dice it like that, I hold my fingers here and I go in a semicircle back and forth. So you can actually continue doing that until you have reached the consistency that you want, or you can grate. Right now I'm going to incorporate, because I'm showing, I'm going to incorporate the two in one and then continue in the semicircle dicing it. Just make sure that you bring it all together. And then, so I teach kids a lot of cooking to kids, and this is my favorite actually fashion for kids to do, because I'm sure that they're not going to turmeric. So in recent years only they have found out, you know, that this is so medicinal. It's a root spice. It looks like ginger but elongated and orange, and it's really good to fight anything that causes inflammation in the body, and most diseases come from inflammation. So in my classes like the Silk Road or the Spice Whisperer, I teach, you know, the benefits of all spices and the travels of Marco Polo all over the Silk Road, and, you know, the mingling of cultures and spices and the outcome of it. This is really a spice that is used in many regions, and you know, a lot of people take the pill because in Western societies that's how we want, you know, instant gratification, but it has to really heat the heat, or, you know, the food, in order to release all of its benefits. I'm gonna put here a little bit of pepper, obviously salt, which is the primordial seasoning for any kind of food, and then my dried mint, which is gonna go there also. I'm gonna grind it even further with my hands. Okay, this is the spices that are gonna go there, and you can always titrate and calibrate, which we are gonna do. Then we're gonna pour liberally. The umami, or the je ne sais quoi, is created not by overdoing something over something, but to mix all these ingredients in such a way that when somebody has it, they cannot really pinpoint, oh, this is this or this is that. You really want everything mixed together in a very homogeneous fashion. For example, when I go to an Italian restaurant and I open the door and it reeks of garlic, I really close the door and go somewhere else, because Italian food is not just about garlic. Same thing with any kind of food. It's time to take it out. When you see basically that the top is charred and ready to come off. So this is what it looks like. This is the effect we are looking for. If it's charred enough that the top skin is coming off easily, that's what we like to achieve. It's hot. Usually I leave it. Okay, so this is what the end result is. So I peeled off the top. This is this side of the eggplant, this is the other side, and I want to leave it exactly like this, laid on this surface. I'm going to put a little bit of garlic here, a little bit of garlic here. This makes too much noise, so we have to take it off. And on top of this, I'm going to layer right now my spices. And it's beautiful. And my verjus, I'm going to put a little tiny bit of olive oil. And everybody is like, what are you doing here? Okay, and this is where my favorite bench scraper, which is really neat for scraping the bench, is coming handy. You see what I'm doing? This is what makes cooking really also very fun for kids when I cook with them, because they've never seen these old world techniques. And it's fun. It's like playing with your food. I can smell it. I put more if need be. I put more. And I just layer it with my sour butter until I achieve a paste, and I make sure that everything is mixed. Moment of truth. Okay, it's always good to do it this way because really good food has everything in balance. The sourness, the sweetness, the bitterness, the salt, the pepper, everything. Right now the salt was missing. I can use a little bit more mint. Again, the way I showed you. So we're gonna put more mint. Finish up with turmeric. And every time you do this, you make sure everything else. So I take my dish. Here we go. We garnish it a little bit. The top again with some mint, little bit of olive oil. You want to taste that? So these are like our most used recipes here that I use, and as you see, it's not so organized. It's, you know, a scrapbook really, like who I learned what from, because I never went to a cooking school, a formal cooking school, I never worked in a restaurant. So when I was compiling my book, I was going through my, you know, really a walk through memory lane, and you know, it starts with how I was in a dorm in Russia and I learned what from whom, and then, you know, it takes me back to my grandma's garden, and these are, as I said, these are the spices that I use, you know, mostly during the day and on and on. And I love when kids and adults and everybody plays with them and they say, do you have more? And I say, well, what do you think? Open the next. So people ask me, you know, what you're so busy, baby, why do you even do this? What would the price be? Honestly, at this point, I don't even know what the price is, but the price always helps me either to take my programs to underprivileged schools, which I've done with my own funds, and teach kids who live in food deserts to do more of what we do, or it helps me, for example, to put my next book out and expand my programs. The book came out and it's my memoirs in food from all the countries I've visited, what inspired me to cook. My grandma really was my biggest inspiration, but I was a smart child, so nobody ever let me in the kitchen. They're like, oh, you have homework to do. So after I hit all the milestones of everybody else's life, I decided to follow my passion and do what I do, and hence the name Harvard Cooking Girl. It's a parody of my life, because obviously I went to business school and Harvard doesn't have a cooking school. Every story starts with a person or a memoir of that person and the food they taught me, and it ends with a recipe. And the countries are Iran, Russia, France, Morocco, Italy, Japan, Thailand, Vietnam, India, Afghanistan, Poland, and then a few more. And at the end it says to be continued. So it's really a tribute to all the people, all the personas, my family members who have been involved in my journey of cooking. So a cash prize would help me and encourage me to do more of the same. And why I think I can really win this, because my skills and my confidence in who I am, I think, sets me apart from others. I have no problem with the fact that I'm not a formal cook. In fact, I think I've learned how to combine life and humor and spices of life together to bring the best outcome. And I've learned how to bring people of all religions and cultures together at the same table here and have them enjoy themselves.